Last year, my manager asked me, hey, do you want to go to Australia for this project? And I was like, well, this is going to be a brag video about me getting a free ticket to Australia. I will also talk about how you can go from pitching a project like this internally, how it was produced, and what value you can bring to your org with something like this. For you to understand this video though, you have to know what is a mullet, this, and that Australia is really freaking far away from me. So this was a pretty big deal. I work in software in an unassuming brick building in Copenhagen, where I do product marketing for a company that makes software for professional photographers. I've got a video all about this if you want to know the details. Just click up here. Normally, you would find me behind the screen looking at some marketing briefs and dashboards, answering emails, meeting with coworkers, or visiting photographers in their studios. So how did I end up on the other side of the world, following a photographer taking photos at the international Mulletfest? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that I traveled all the way over there to attend the festival called Mulletfest. This story just keeps on giving, isn't it? It was truly a miracle that 4 things just aligned for this project to make it happen. 1. I know my way around the camera and how to produce content. I know our photo software pretty darn well, so I know what to show and how to show all this hidden content. I also have a very good relationship with a special photographer for this project, and most importantly, I can speak this weird English dialect called Australian, as ages ago I lived over there for a few years. But we're not here to fuck spiders, so let's get into it. This is Mark, undoubtedly the most important person of this project. He's a commercial photographer based here in Copenhagen who is mostly shooting fashion. I'll leave his Insta below, he has amazing work, so please do check it out. And to do all that work, Mark has actually been using our software for a decade now. Originally from Australia, he happened to grow up close to this small town called Kurri Kurri, where the Mulletfest takes place. What is the Mulletfest, you might ask? Well, you take a plot of land in the Australian bush, put a bunch of people there with the best haircuts in the world, bring some beer and sprinkle on top of an incredibly friendly and passionate family to organize it. That's how you get Mulletfest. But what would a fashion photographer and a marketing manager from a software company from the Nordics be doing in the Australian bush with a bunch of haircuts from the 80s, taking portraits of all the amazing people, of course. Early last year, Mark pitched an idea to us that he wanted to travel back home to photograph this event, and he wanted us to help to make this possible. He told us that he would use our software on location to take portraits, and he would be happy to give us some images and do a story with us once he's back here in Copenhagen. Our brand team and myself absolutely loved this idea. And Mark has been an absolute gem to work with in the past, so we really wanted to help him to make this a reality. But how do you convince your manager that, hey, we want to throw a bunch of money at our project covering weird haircuts in Australia because it shows our product being used in a super wild and unique setting? To do exactly this, we put together a small pitch internally with the help of Mark. Came up with a few different proposals that we could present to our manager, and we hope for the best. Did it go well? Well, clearly I wouldn't be making this video if it didn't, but it helped a lot to be well prepared, bringing in multiple proposals and alternatives how this project could work. And of course, we are lucky to work under someone who could see the value in something like this can bring back to the organization. We do marketing towards professional photographers. Trust me, they have seen some crazy stuff already. So we do need to push the envelope to catch their attention with imagery and stories that is really out there. The internal pitch went well. We got the budget approved for it and started planning the project. But that is when the question came up, how could we get some behind the scenes content of Mark using our software on this shoot? Put a GoPro on his camera, tip a 360 camera on his head, hire a videographer to travel with Mark. Obviously this last one was the absolute best option, but we were running out of budget to do this. Now we're going back to the beginning a little bit when I told you that I know my way around the camera. Production, content creation, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And I happened to be sitting in the room when we talked about how to get some behind the scenes content for this project. And this is when the question, hey, do you want to go to Australia for this project, was asked of me. And I was down for it, like down under for it. So what an amazing opportunity. But also immediately this project just got 10 times bigger. But now we had the chance to not just get some beautiful portraits from Mark, but also being able to tell the story around this whole thing throughout video. And this is where my partner in crime, Taus, our creative lead, stepped in big time. We had all the amazing pieces together for a great story to be told. A pro photographer and portraits of mullets in Australia, but what is this story that should be tying it all together? We kept going back to Mark's initial pitch. and the reason why he wanted to do this project, to push his own creative boundaries, to experiment, learn, and to see if he can pull off a personal project like this. And we knew that this was it. This is a commonality across many creatives who work within commercial boundaries. The urge to do something completely different from their normal day-to-day. We knew that this was relevant and would resonate with our audience, so we leaned into this and fleshed out this idea. Toast and I also wanted to highlight the juxtaposition of the vastly different environments Mark is and will be working in throughout this project. On one hand, Copenhagen, the cold, rainy, cultural, financial and fashion capital of a northern European nation with well-equipped studios, versus the sweltering hot Australian outback with a pop-up studio but with a laid-back lifestyle. We pitched it to Mark and he loved it. We pitched it to the rest of the brand team, they loved it. And of course we pitched it to our manager too, who also loved the idea. So 5 months later, I was sitting at a beach bar 16,000 kilometers away from home with Mark going over our plan for the next 3 days, because we shot for 3 days in Australia. First was a prep day, getting the gear, scouting the location, and recording some establishing shots all around Newcastle, an absolutely gorgeous town. The next day was the big one. It was the festival day. 35 Celsius degrees, dust, burnt rubber, amazing haircuts, lovely people, burnouts, motocross bikes, national TV crews, and Vegemite suits. It was absolutely hectic, but also kind of easy to record because anywhere I pointed the camera, something absolutely crazy or fun was going on. Mark photographed portraits of the whole day at the pop-up studio, which was always trying to be blown away by the wind. And of course, he also covered the rest of the event itself as well. I was running around following him and also capturing all the things that is happening at the festival. It was an incredibly long and hot day, and we were just completely done at the end of it. For the third shoot day in Australia, I wanted to do the interview bit with Mark to record his thoughts while they were fresh.
Could you explain to Roxy some of the adjustments that you made to the mods?
Alright, Roxy, so what we're gonna do...
But we were so spent after an 11-hour long day from the festival, we kind of gave up on this. And I think it was for the better, to be honest. So instead, I packed up the gear and I went for a swim at this gorgeous beach. 10 days later, we were both back in the freezing cold Copenhagen. Taus joined me for a shoot that Mark was doing for an iconic Danish brand Woodwood. We were there to get some behind-the-scenes footage of Mark in his regular job. For the very last shoot day, we set out to get more behind-the-scenes of Mark from Copenhagen and to do a proper interview that will serve as the voiceover for the video itself. All in all, 5 shooting days, 3 in Australia and 2 in Copenhagen. Then I just had to edit the voiceover together, adding B-roll, picking music, which was really not a big deal when you think about it. Not sure if the sarcasm actually comes through. This was a massive overtaking and it took me days to put the first timeline together. But after having the first cut, a few review rounds of the timeline, getting photos from Mark, we were almost there. In the end, I had a bit of help with the color grading, audio mixing and some graphics editing because I just got too busy with my regular day-to-day tasks that I couldn't spend more time on this video project. Oh yeah, while I was editing this, I was also juggling a major campaign preparation, pre-production and production for the campaign shoot, and also preparing for a massive event, and so on. It was a busy period. But now that the video is out, the question begs itself, was it a worthy investment for the company to do this project? And I would say 100%. We could help Mark, a long-time partner, materialize a dream project. We have some gorgeous portraits that are definite scroll stoppers for our digital marketing content. Plus, on top of this, we've been focusing on portraiture this year, and these photos are just something special. We also have some absolutely amazing video content that can help us show how powerful our software is when it comes to delivering a photo project like this.
You're amazing! Do you have a car?
Damn, man, that's sick!
As a marketing manager, I feel this is a very successful project which can show our product in an extremely authentic, relatable and inspiring light for our audience, while being quirky and doing something so different that none of our competitors actually do. And on a personal note, the best of it all was that I got to go on this trip. As an ex-professional creative, I feel so lucky I got to do this project. This was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I've managed to meet some wild people doing some absolutely crazy things over there, and I walked away from it with some great footage and probably a lifetime of memories too. And to top it off, I also got to visit my friends and family in Australia during this trip, some whom I haven't seen in 11 years since I moved out from there. I am super grateful that I got to do this. A huge thanks goes out to Mark, Taus, my manager, the rest of the brand team, and most importantly, my partner, who is cool with me pissing off 16,000 kilometers away for a few weeks. This wouldn't have been possible without them. You can watch the final video up here. I will also put it in the description below, so please do check it out. I would love to hear what you think about it. It was a lot of fun making this. Thanks for watching.